If you're a fan of the show with Greg Cosell of NFL Films, coming up Saturday, May the 20th at the Hutton Hotel. Get your tickets right now at 1045thezone.com to hear the best breakdown of Will Levis.
Really, really excited and thankful for the opportunity.
And the rest of the Titans draft class.
It is straight up 1 o'clock. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans veterans spoke with the media earlier today at OTAs, and Titans newcomers highlighted the conditioning being a big difference from where they were coming from. This is former San Francisco linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair.
In the expectations, you see conditioning on one of them, and you're just like, it looks good, but you don't. That's real. Like, conditioning is literally, like, we're doing a lot, you know what I'm saying? And you think, like, man, this is crazy. And it's like you just got to buy in and see the vision, you know.
Titans finalized their preseason schedule. They will be in Chicago Saturday, August 12th, and in Minnesota the Saturday 1 week after that. The third and final preseason game be here in Nashville Friday, August 25th against the New England Patriots. College baseball, it is senior night in Knoxville. The Tennessee Vols host Belmont in the final midweek non-conference matchup, throwing first pitch at Lindsey Nelson Stadium at 5:30. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt hosting MTSU tonight at Hawkins Field at 6 p.m. Tonight in the NBA, the Western Conference Finals tip off with the Lakers at the Nuggets. It's game 1 at 7:30. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I hope you're in good condition. Because if you caught any of these veteran players talking earlier, they, as Lucas mentioned in his updates, they mentioned conditioning. Tyler in the Zone TV chat has already weighed in. Lonzo says good afternoon. So does Tyler. Then Tyler adds, on today's segment of What Caught Your Attention, Sean Murphy-Bunting talking about how intense this conditioning is compared to other teams. Meanwhile, he says the Titans have led the league in injuries 2 straight years.
No, Button didn't say that. Who said that?
No, Tyler said that.
Oh, Tyler.
He said Bunting talking about how intense the conditioning is,
Right,
and
right.
Tyler added, meanwhile, this is the team that's led the league in injuries the last 2 years. It's new dudes today other than Traylon Burks. Everybody was new. And, Lucas, what would you
So
put
all of them were saying the same thing?
Yep. What would you put the over-under on the C word?
How many
Conditioning.
times?
Yep.
Yeah, because Azeez Al-Shaair talked about it a lot, too. I bet the word was used, if I had to put an over-under on it, I would say 8.5 total.
Yeah. So I was writing my notes, and I said Sean Murphy-Bunting mentioned a few times about how hard they are working. Azeez Al-Shaair, first thing, he's talking about how hard they are working. Daniel Brunskill also mentioned conditioning.
Oh, this is an old lineman.
Yeah. So they're
And they're coming from other organizations, so I could be totally wrong. That means that they probably weren't doing a lot of conditioning in the offseason early on. I'm going to tag that with early on in the offseason program. Because the offseason program, just started a month ago or so?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere close to that. I don't know. When did the offseason program start, Lucas? Do you know?
The first phase of it was a week and a half,
Oh, just a week and a half ago?
2 weeks ago, maybe more. I don't know. Time's been a blur to me lately.
Okay.
I can't believe it's May and we're
So
already
it's
over
still-
halfway done
still
with May.
early. So that means you had to come in pretty decent shape. I mean, for it to get to this level of intensity that they're talking about, especially because they're talking about it coming from other teams. Not like it's the Titans, the current Titan players. It's guys coming from other teams. So all I can say is it could be a really good thing. It also could be where timing and you don't need to be in tip-top shape today. And I say that because I had to learn that throughout my whole career is that, I'm not playing, in May. I'm actually playing in July. So it's supposed to be a build-up. So if this is part of the build-up great. But the way they were all talking about it didn't sound like a build up. It sounds like we getting in tip top shape like now. Like, I'd go out there and run my, 110s with, a minute rest in between and trying to reach a certain time. And then as you get close to the season, you're going 30 seconds rest, 110s at such a time. So before I was trying to act like the season was in May, and then I was trying to do the 30 seconds rest time. And then I realized, you know what, I don't play now. Now it's time to, stay in good shape, but not elite shape. And then you ratchet it up. So, that's just observe. I don't know if that's the case here or not, but for everybody to say something, especially the guys from the other teams, I mean, that dang, we weren't really doing it to this level, I'm going to assume, at the other places. And we can't say that, they came from losing places. They all came from decent organizations that are used to winning ones. Tom Brady was there. They may not have been as successful as, usual, but and then the other from San Francisco. We all know they're a winning organization. But they are not in the heat either out there on the West Coast. So as Traylon Burks learned his first season. So, you could take heed to him being here all off season and making sure that he is ready to rock and roll, and he sure seemed to be so. Says, I don't think the heat will be an issue, at least as far as my breathing.
Yep. Said he's been here.
Which are all still good things, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can carry that on for a long string of period of time for everybody's sake. So we shall see. Let's see if the injuries are down. I don't know. Maybe they have been doing this before, and we just didn't know because no one thought to ask about conditioning, or maybe no one mentioning conditioning by the players. I don't know.
Traylon Burks also said he changed his eating habits during the year last year. Said it's given him more energy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he mentioned that last year, so I don't think that's just as big of a deal. I think that the deal is now he continued on with you doing that, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're not in college where you're the best player and you just eat whatever the heck you want. It is what it is. You want to give yourself food that gives you energy and not to make you tired and sleepy or muscles tight, So this is all a learning process. I mean, if everybody thought that Traylon Burks was going to be the same guy he was last year, that's why I thought it was, really just silly to me to hide that, he was out of shape. So what? He's out of shape. Guess what? He can only go up. He can only get in shape. So what's the big deal? Well, why we got to hide it? He has asthma. Well, he wasn't prepared to be in the heat. Maybe he wasn't working out as hard as he should have been. Oh, well, put the criticism on him on that. I'm sorry for it, Coach. I mean, now he learned, and guess what? He got better. So, yeah, he learned. So, it was like he was sitting on his behind. You got to believe in who you drafted and that he will be better. And I think you knew he was a good, high-character guy and that he was going to eventually get it. It wasn't going to take him very long either, because to have success, in sports for sure, you learn, and there's ebbs and flows, and you continue to, plow through it with an intensity level to be the best version of you. And that's what he's done. So, I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, I expect nothing less. Now he's trying to get results. I love everything he said about it. So now I'm just sticking to playing ball and being the best I can be, making my corrections and just be there for my teammates. So, yeah, it was all good. Positive from all aspects, from Burks and all the players, really. I don't know. I felt like they were still doing a little more up-tempo, but maybe I'm just taking it the wrong way. Maybe they get to the line of scrimmage just sooner than they used to with more time on the clock. Maybe that is what they're actually saying. I don't know, because they're not out there with a clock now, I'm sure. So rush up to the line and get it, make sure you get that first step. I'm like, oh, okay.
Burks compared the offense to when Kendall Briles got the job at Arkansas. He said, the offense reminds me of when Kendall Briles, I think he said, my sophomore year at Arkansas, when Kendall Briles, have you got this, Lucas? This is what Blaine was referring to. This was Traylon Burks kind of talking about because he was here last year. He was the one guy that spoke today. It's what he said about the offense.
Mainly, man, my biggest thing was not repeating on what I did last year coming into the offseason. And I feel like that I've mastered that and can keep going, getting better with a lot of the formations and concepts of our new stuff, and just having fun, really. That's the main thing, just having fun, not having that stress on coming in as a rookie, like trying to prove this guy this, prove the coach this, just having fun, man.
Ryan, Aaron, and Chid were talking about some of that new stuff last week. From your perspective, how much are things changing, and what's it mean for you?
I would say, honestly, man, it really reminds me of my sophomore year in college, with that being Browse coming in and just having that tempo offense, and just knowing like that it's so much things in this offense that we have now that you can just go be free, have fun, and just win games.
So what did you take from that? Lucas?
So I guess when Mike Vrabel said, "Rarely are we the faster team out there,"
Oh, here we go with but you took literally that he wanted faster players.
that's I think how most people took it.
Did
right?
you hear what I was going to add?
How many fast guys did they draft?
What's Tyjae Spears' 40 time?
Well, I mean, they tied in, they drafted wide
Right.
receiver. I mean, but they, it's not like those guys were taunted for how elite speed they were. They're all fast.
But maybe that was more from a schematic standpoint than a personnel standpoint.
Schematic, yes. Brunskill, who was brought here, and he's an O-lineman, probably going to be a guard here, in quotes, speed off the ball on offense. Then he said this, how explosive can we be with our first step?
Right, that's what I mentioned earlier about Brunskill.
So
but that's not saying you're running faster. I mean, you're running the tempo of the offense faster. To me, those are things you do automatically. You want to have your first step. No different if you're coming off the line of wide receiver, your back pedal, your guard, your tackle. So to me, that's a broad brush answer. That doesn't mean that they're going faster. They could be, but that answer, that part of his answer is not telling me anything about the speed.
I wonder if it means to do the thing that we've talked about so many times on pregame shows, when it was you and Dice and me, of just running some more no huddle.
No, I don't think it has
none of that.
No. Mm-mm. I just think, and even with Burks talking about the change to Briles, I think what people are getting confused is as soon as they hear the word Briles, they think, now they've turned up the whole entire offense to a warp speed. No, what he's saying is I had to adapt to the change. Mm-hmm. Right. Guess what they're doing now? Now, they probably are running faster on the offense, but it's not like it's a hurry-up offense. Mm-hmm. It's just that we're running at a better clip. It could be just as much as new coordinator gets the plays in faster than the old coordinator. So we get to the line, we can make adjustments, and we want to make sure we get off the ball quick and make sure that everybody's ready to rock and roll on the cadence, because he even mentioned cadence of Ryan Tannehill because he said Matt at first. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's what I hear in football terms. I could be wrong, because of the way they're answering the questions. But there sure is some speed up, and as well as if they're ratcheting up conditioning, I'm putting them both together. There's some part of this, somehow, everything is speeded up. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they're running a hurry-up offense, but they're running faster than they were last year. That's what it does tell me, because you have to be in better shape to run this more, let's say, up-tempo offense, and I'm going to just call it, say, faster than what they did last year. I will not go into say that they're running up tempo, and that's their offense.
Well, I don't think so either.
Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, when you say up tempo, you're saying on occasion, or this is something that they're regularly doing. They're running the offense now, and they're breaking the huddle, and next thing you know, they got 20 seconds on the clock. That's up tempo too, in the NFL terms. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
It does seem like at times under Todd Downing, they were content to run 52 plays a game or 55. Or
trying to slow the game down.
Slow the game down as much as
they
they
ball
could.
Up the court in basketball, yeah.
That's it, 4 corners.
Yeah. So to me, that means that they're running the plays at more clips, and they want more plays.
Yep.
And so that means they have to be in better shape. And that doesn't mean that they're going to be running no huddle. So that's why I'm trying to let's don't go too far in until we see it. Like, I got to see what they're talking about here before we try to say that they're, pretty much running no huddle. I think that's a good change of pace every game or every 3 or 4 games. right before the halves and catch guys off guard. But to say that you're going to do that every game, just imagine this. I'm about to say this. They're gonna run the same speed as UT? No, they're not going to do that. No, that's just not going to happen. Guess what? That injury number will double if they do that. There's no way you can run that with the physicality in the National Football League and the level of these guys' ability. They're going to run out of gas. You may could get away with that a game or two, but there's no way you can run it. That's why no one has adopted that in the National Football League, and you can only do it sparingly at times.
Because if somebody thought they could, they would.
Yes,
I mean,
no
if
doubt
we
about
could
it.
win with this, 100% we're going to do that. Oh, wait,
The best version we'll see is a 2-minute drill. That's the hurry up offense. And you think you're going to do that entire game for 17 weeks?
Yes.
Man, you got to be kidding me, bro. Be exhausted.
Maybe they'll get to 65.
So hopefully it'll be more exciting and they get more plays in on offense.
Yeah.
Even if it's just 10 more plays a game. Oh, yeah. I love it. They better be in shape, though, boy. It sounds like they in some. Ooh, I feel like I'm getting in shape just listening to them.
Well, we've conditioned ourselves to make it to the next segment, so we'll do that. What caught your attention in the sports world? We've already had Tyler share one.
Up-tempo.
You can share one. Maybe it's the word conditioning. 615-737-1045. Jump on, jump in. Hit us in the Zone TV chat if you're watching online anywhere. Hit us on Twitter at Blaine and Mickey. Blaine Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Caught your attention in the sports world this week.
Oh, my attention.
Something catch y'all's attention with the
Ooh.
Titans vets today. Speaking, Traylon Burks in year 2. Sean Murphy-Bunting, the new cornerback, says he feels like he can play any position in the secondary. Says he knows all the positions. Azeez Al-Shire, the new linebacker from San Francisco. Daniel Brunskill also coming over from San Francisco. A lot of those guys talking about conditioning, and Traylon Burks talking about not having breathing problems and staying here during the offseason. Says he feels great. Mentioned his mentor last year. One of his mentors was Tim Kelly. And now Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator for the team. So,
that should be awesome. Then they should keep featuring him, huh? Beating the ball, besides because he's first-round pick.
Hey, man, if you want your Titans to be good, you need to, like, get down and say your prayers every night that Traylon Burks is who they think he is.
Well, hopefully he'll become there. I think he will be.
Pray that Burks is him.
Physically, though, that's
him.
Physically,
yeah. Well, as long as he stays healthy, I think he'll get the production.
Yeah.
I mean, and then with the tweaks of the offense, I'm going to continue to say tweaks of the offense because I still think they want to be 50-50 on run-pass, but changing when, they're passing and running, not as predictable. So it's going to feel like this a balanced offense. Kind of like when you go back and look at the stats, I'm going to throw this out there, Mickey. You can tell me if I'm wrong. The Green Bay game. If we went back and didn't it feel like they threw the ball more? I bet if we go back and look at the stats, I bet it's real close on run pass. But I felt like the offense was wide open. Well, that's how you want to feel after every game. So it might have leaned towards the pass, maybe 3 or 4 more passes. And that was at the end there when Burks got that long go route out there. So what was the number? I have no idea.
our crack research staff is
important.
So in Green Bay, you're saying?
Yes.
In Green Bay, Tannehill was 22 of 27.
27
for 333 yards. The week after that.
No.
How many times did they run?
We're talking about run pass in a game.
Let me check.
So how many rushes did Big Henry King was playing, right?
Yes.
Yep.
The Titans ran the ball. Oh, I clicked on the wrong game. Stand by.
Okay. I'm going to guess 33. So they 27 passes. I think they ran more.
They ran it. Okay, they threw 27 times, 29 times if you include Derrick Henry. He was 2 for 2 in that game.
No.
Okay. But if you don't, they threw it 27 times, and they ran the ball 32.
32.
Yes.
See, so, now, leaving that game, I still felt like they threw more, but it was about the same, 31-32.
Now, Tannehill had 3 runs for -3 yards. So if you take out Tannehill's 3 runs, I don't know if they were designed runs, then it would be 29 carries. 28 carries for Henry.
You're reading the stats, Lily. Did you ever remember Tannehill actually drawing up a play to run? That means he got sacked. And he tried to scramble.
He was trying to scramble.
Right. So
he got around the line of scrimmage.
Right, yeah. Exactly. So it was still close to 500, but I felt like it was a more open offense. Yeah. And it was because of when they selectively chose to throw the football for whatever reason in that game. And I'm hoping we see that and then maybe a little more up-tempo.
They were effective throwing the ball, which they were so ineffective so often throwing the ball. Effective.
Yeah. So this is my reasoning why I think they have enough weapons at the wide receiver position. Because if Burks is healthy and if Moore and guys continue to roll with a more open mindset on the offense, I think they think those guys will be productive. NWI, Moore, and whoever else they want to throw into the pot at receiver, and they feel like they'll be productive. And are they stars? No. The star guy is going to be Burks. He's going to be the A.J. Brown producer, and if you double him, then we can even throw in Chig. By the way, Spears, who's going to be a receiving threat. He's going to be replacing Hilliard, in my opinion, as far as his usage, and maybe even a little bit more.
I think there were games where I felt like they could have used Hilliard more than what they did. And there was one game in particular, we went to his locker after the game, and we asked him about not being in the game, and we said, hey, they just said you were hurt. And he said, well, I'm not hurt.
Yep, and then guess what? He was hurt. He never did play very much after that.
Remember
that next game, he didn't even dress.
Remember that, though?
And how do you not dress him? You say you wasn't hurt.
He's standing in his locker because we were like, hey, man, you okay? He's like,
no,
yeah.
you were. I wasn't there.
I said, hey, man, Hey, we're like, hey, man, you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. We just talked to that coach. He said you were hurt at the end of the game. He's like, I'm not hurt.
But he didn't dress the next game. I remember I was watching.
he led them in receiving touchdowns, did he not? Hilliard in his minimum
but
of
he
games.
did have a significant injury there at the end of the season. I don't even know if he's playing anymore. Right? I think it was a neck or spine or something. So his career may be over or he's still healing, but that's probably why he's not re-signed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a nasty
I don't know if he did
hit.
Did he do it on kickoff or was he a blocking or I can't even remember how it happened, but I just remember the report after the game. So, yeah. So we shall see what we got. I think, man, I can't wait till I go out here and watch him practice here in OTAs.
See how up the tempo is. What that actually means.
Not just that. I think it's real interesting.
Yeah, Hilliard had 4 touchdowns receiving. He played in 12 games. Yeah.
Is that all the national media people and all the pundits are really thinking the Titans are going to be really bad? I think I saw the power rank. I don't know if you saw this, Mickey or Lucas. They had the 28th.
28.
The Titans. Yep. I said, well, dang, it's only 32 teams, right? Like, dang, they can't be that. Just alone on Vrabel's coaching, veteran quarterback, the king, the offensive line has been addressed. They will be better for it. I just can't see the team not at least being in the middle of the road type team. So I get baffled. I don't understand where unless they know something we don't like. Are they trading Tannehill and we don't know that yet? And they said, well, it's going to be a rookie quarterback starting. I mean, like, how do you become 28th? 28th means you're poor, horrible. You may win 4 games.
Oh, and every one of these
what
mock
is
drafts
saying?
for 2024, early 24, they're picking 5th or 6th or 4th or. I think the guys
like to me, you should lean on the local market. They're following the teams better. So we're talking about Buck and all the guys who are closely invested. Teron, these guys are there every day. Teresa Walker, who's following the programs. John Glenn. I mean, every day over a national, and they get the platform, and then they're the ones who actually are not doing the homework on these people. Now, they should be talking to the local people to be having their opinion made because they're not watching every step made. So I don't get it. I really don't.
So the
28th?
The 5th worst team in the league last year, just based on record, were the Raiders at 6-11. So that's kind of.
So that's the range they're saying.
Kind of that range is what they're saying.
Now, if Tannehill's not here, I could see them saying that.
Yeah.
Just him alone. I remember I said this. If Tannehill didn't start, how many games he win? I think you're middle of the road. I already said that with Tannehill. So then you're right into the 6-game win if you're going with a rookie quarterback. That's that. I just think that's a couple of losses, maybe. I don't know. You never know. He may develop faster than we think. Everybody knows my opinion. I like Tannehill, but I'm ready to turn the page. Like, it's time to go on. And let's get this thing started. I know a lot of people, old school. This is not 1995 when we drafted Steve McNair, who sat for 3 years. I thought that was crazy, too. He's making millions of dollars, and I'm sitting there breaking my neck, and I'm only making $135,000. How about that? So, no, he should be out there busting his butt. And everybody, you got to coddle the quarterback. This is 2023. Come on, man. If you're watching the NFL, more guys are starting at quarterback as a rookie than I've ever seen before. And the reason why is because everybody's watching 7-on-7. Everybody's developing sooner than later, and they don't need all that. Now, that doesn't mean every now and then there's a way, depending on your situation. If you have a veteran quarterback, if you're, phasing them out or, you don't want to start him soon and you got a veteran quarterback that you bring in to just say, hey, hold the mantle for 3 or 4 games until we get him up to speed. So they're different situations. But at the end of the day, the way college and then all the 7-on-7, man, you're pretty much close to being ready. As long as you got the verbiage, the terminology, and you're playing in the preseason without getting injured or anything like that in the offseason programs, I feel like it's a catch-22. Like, let's use Anthony Richardson, who's a vet with, is Minshew there? Or whoever's there is a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, Minshew.
4th game that he's in there. That's just the way it's going to be. He's a career backup guy who can spot start for 3 or 4 games and it'll look pretty solid. Well, during that time, only way he can get up to speed is if he actually plays, guys. That's the only way, ladies, is if he plays. Because guess what? They already said we're going to be horrible. Well, let's get this thing right out the way now. So if I'm running, and I've been very consistent that I think they should trade to Tannehill. Now, what happened was I think they just didn't get what they thought they were able to get that was worthy of it. The collateral wasn't worth it. So, and I know they tried to do Henry as well as Byard. They just told you what they wanted to do. They asked him to take a pay cut. It wasn't because of his play. It's a business, and that's what people need to realize. This is not like college when you fall in love with the player. You have a shelf life, and then the shelf life also consists of the salary cap and your pay. So what they build up must come down, and they want to beat the downward tick on every player, and pay starts it. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I think King is the only guy that's going to survive because he's going to walk away because they probably are never going to get what they think he's worth because he's kind of this unicorn-type running back that has to get carries, and he has to go to a team that has a running team. Now, Tannehill is the most valuable just because he's a quarterback. And if somebody has a veteran quarterback that gets hurt, and I know a lot of people think this is crazy, but there's always going to be a possibility that they would trade. If they feel like they got all the surrounding pieces, I don't care if he even knows the offense or any relationship to the coordinator. They be like, hey, this guy's starting this league. He'll pick it up fast. It's a possibility he could get traded even before trade deadline, once the season even starts. Because if not, he walks. And that's just not economically the way to go in the NFL. You lose. Guess what? They always win. Me, McNair, Eddie George, you can go down all the greats, Jarrell Casey, Delaney Walker. They didn't lose. They won. They never lose. They will be losing with the King. Nobody probably is gonna get him. But the Tannehill and the Byard, they shouldn't lose. They shouldn't lose. And I know Byard's a safety and their value is not what it is, even though he's an elite safety still today. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's hanging on to it. He's taking a risky proposition here, and I've said this before, because they can kind of bury him within the market, and then everybody signs their safeties, and then they gonna have to go out on a limb and say, we got cap space, we're gonna cut one of these dudes, and we're gonna bring him in, pay him what he's worth. There's some teams out there that may do that late in the game, and I'm talking about in July, and unless somebody gets hurt.
Right.
So I still think it's a possibility. Hey, I've never said this. I think Rand and Vrabel, and I've said they're playing both sides of this coin of trying to transition and revamp to, stick with the guys. They're right in between. They're still going to be competitive. They're doing a heck of a job, to be honest. Everybody knows I keep it real and I keep it 100. They're playing both sides of it, and some of it is because they had to. But what I just discussed. Some players, they just couldn't trade. They didn't get the value they wanted. So they're going to still keep trying. And it's not over till training camp's over and then trade deadline.
Trade deadline's week 8.
Here's the question Vrabel has to answer, because he's the one that's probably making this final call. Once the season starts, and if Tannehill isn't traded, do you say, that's the line, we're rolling with Tannehill because now I'm trying to see as many games we can win? And if they start off fast and are 3-3, 4-2, you stick with Tannehill even when the trade market and somebody's quarterback gets hurt and somebody calls you and you say, hey, you ready for Tannehill to be traded? We'll give you a 4th-round pick. What do you do? Mm-hmm. See your face?
Because it's week 8 is the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Yep.
You go, dang.
Or traditionally, that's when it is.
And you go, dang, but we're winning. but as a coach, that's all it's always about.
And especially how hard the first part of the schedule was.
Well, to me, they got to start off fast. This is a tough schedule early on.
But if they start fast,
I'd be like, so some people gonna be like, no, stick with the quarterback.
So you're saying 4-3 because they would have played 7 games by week 8.
4-3, and they're still in the hunt, and maybe they're tied for first place in the AFC South. Because don't forget, the Jaguars are playing a first place schedule. They have a tougher schedule. So, at least based off of last season.
Yeah, oh, they do.
And so, yeah, you don't want to relinquish that. And so, guess what? At the end of the season, when even if you make the playoffs and you won and done, Tannehill walks for free.
And he had a good season.
The king
Go make him some money.
for free.
Sure does.
Byard gets cut for free.
Even
He's still under contract. That's why I said that. I hate to say that because I love me some Byard. He's the best safety in Titans history, but all good things come to an end, and it has to do with the type of salary he's making. It's really it at this point in time in his career. That's it. Salary cap.
All right, we'll get into more Titans talk and more of what caught our attention next. Right here, Blaine and Mickey, you got something that caught your attention. Maybe it's some of the stuff that the Hitman is preaching today. 615-737-1045.
Doc Rivers got canned.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What caught your attention from the sports world? Obviously, a lot of this Titans content caught ours. I got a curveball for you guys today, though, for mine.
What, AJ who?
I know. I'm not. Somebody said that in his own TV chat. That's old Traylon Burks talk today. They're counting on that guy being fantastic down the street. They're counting on him.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to go sign a bunch of people. We got Traylon Burks.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Traylon Burks.
Yeah, with the crew. Yeah, Greg Burton right here. Man, he said, you all are all wrong. Very good season for the Titans. I'm hoping I just don't see a 6-win type team. Just Vrabel in the offensive line better. Imagine they still run the football with a better offensive line and a change of pace offense that's going to catch guys early, especially those first 3 or 4 games. And that's how they break down the film. Once they get 3 games of film, and that's when you start showing your tendencies. This is the things I used to lean on as a player, and you can really see. So, I mean, especially with an old coordinator, as Mickey mentioned yesterday, I would go back and watch when Tim Kelly was the coordinator with the Texans and go watch every single game he was. I think he was 2 years there, because the coordinators bring their playbook with them, and they don't change. And everybody knows what's going into the game if you know who the coordinator is. That's why those divisional games are so tough, because you play them twice a year. They know your tendencies, you know theirs. So it's about execution. So when you play outside of your division, then that's when it gets a little tricky, and you don't know little small tendencies that they normally would do in critical situations. Even though you're seeing it, they may disguise it with different formations. So I'm interested to see how this starts off early in the season, because I think they need it. And the change of pace, and maybe they do a little more hurry up or something early on. I don't know. I haven't watched 2 years of Kelly. What I did do is I went back and watched him when they played the Titans, and they opened up their offense with Mills, and Mills looked really good in that game. The Titans they struggled to win that game, but they won. But the offense was moving the ball for the Texans. And Mills at quarterback, and he looked like he was a starting type quarterback.
In the second half, they had no answers for him. 0 answers.
Oh, that's your man. Amendola had a great game.
Amendola, he was so good.
That was
he quit after that.
Yeah, he quit.
I'll never do that again.
He have 200.
He retired.
He had over 100 yards though.
Oh yeah, like almost 200, I think.
Yeah, it was kind of impressive.
I didn't even know he was on the team before that game.
Hey, I forgot. I think he was injured. Like he had a hammy. Like the first 6 games, it didn't play, and he went a minute there. He hadn't played in a while.
Somebody, Mr. Miyagi, that thing before the game because it looked good.
I feel like this team can catch some guys early if all things come together like we're hoping they do. And I'm talking about with the offensive line. And it starts there. I mean, we can talk about, Skoronski, what have you. I'll say I would play my best 5. You go Dillard, Skoronski, Brewer, Brunskill, and MPF. Dude, that's solid. Let's go to work, guys. Then you got Chig.
Yeah.
Now you got Big Wiley. Ooh. Guys, that's one thing about Kelly's offense. 2 tight ends was consistently on the football field. And even if they spread them out, they'd put the tight ends outside and put the receivers inside. Try to get a mismatch versus zone, because you got your corners outside. Now you got to declare what you're doing. So, And then, NWI with Burks and the veteran Chris Moore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Coming off his best year.
Yeah.
All right, that's some attention-getting stuff. Lucas Panzica, what caught your attention from the sports world?
Georgia Bulldogs.
7 days. Georgia Bulldogs.
Secured a commitment from the number 1 overall player in the 2024 class, quarterback Dylan Raiola, the son of legendary Lions and legendary Nebraska center Dominic Raiola. A Nebraska legacy that was pursued very heavily by Matt Rule and that Nebraska staff. He was a former Ohio State commitment, but the rich get richer, and Georgia gets the number 1 quarterback in the country, the number 1 overall player in the country for the 2024 cycle in Dylan Raiola. And on top of that, this morning...
He's at Florida State. Almost got him too as well, right?
Florida State was in on it. I know he was committed to Ohio State and decommitted.
He looks 35 in some of the pictures
He
I've
does.
seen of him.
Big, tall guy. He's like a pitcher. He has a million different speeds that he can throw at. And on the flip side of that, this morning, former Tennessee running back Laneith Whitehead, who had been in the portal for a while, commits to Georgia.
He's a Georgia kid, though, right?
He was from Georgia, yeah.
He
was a class of 2020, recruited by Pruitt.
Yeah.
Big physical back. Didn't fit as much of what Tennessee was doing, but he'll be probably a nice depth fit in Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, but I couldn't care. He's a good player.
Rich
He
get
was a
richer.
linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he went
Rich
back
got
and forth
richer.
for linebacker, but he had some injury issues, I think, to his shoulder when he was with Tennessee.
He battled a bunch of injuries at Tennessee.
Yeah, that was so he never really touched the field. But he was a highly recruited player.
Yeah.
What's highly recruited by you for what caught your attention?
Well, I mean, this is what's caught my attention. You know, the NBA's on right here, and Doc Rivers getting fired is what caught my attention. And when I'm saying that, it's not about him getting fired. It's just that it goes into, it's kind of just like it's starting to be just like the NFL, because this is a successful coach. Just imagine the mindset you're using in the NBA to hear. Successful coach, he's got beaten in the conference or, championships or the semifinals, and they just can't figure it out. All right. We all know he can coach. That is not a question. He's been in this league way too long and got some championships. Guess what? It's always about results in the biggest moments at the biggest time, and you didn't get it done, let alone some of those players won't be back either. Maybe James Harden and his beard. Maybe his beard will be back, but he won't be. And, I think he's a free agent or option to pick up. And so it just shows you the cutthroat business in the coaching industry, and it's trickling down. There's no job security, regardless of your regular season record, which I think they were number 2 in the East. I know Milwaukee, who got ousted, who their coach got fired as well. They were the number 1 seed and got beat in the first round. So I would say there is no job security unless you have success, and only for so long in the playoffs, with expectations built with the MVP on your team or one of the top 10 players in the NBA, and Harden being a true scorer and good surrounding pieces. Unfortunately, it's always about results when it comes to pro sports. Another one bites the dust.
Sure does. Mine is a rare NBA one as well.
What?
The Lakers
Acknowledge me.
The Lakers are in the Western Conference Finals.
What they are? Oh, they are in the finals. You're right.
They started 2-10. They remade the team during the season.
I couldn't believe
they were
that.
written off. And I'm not the big Laker guy. I like LeBron. I think he's a fascinating guy, and I love watching him play. But I'm not some Lakers apologist. What they've done is unbelievable.
It is. And with a new coach.
And they've been written off by everybody and adding people to the team. And you got Reeves, who's from Newark, Arkansas.
Oh, I love him.
He's turned into a great player for them. Was an undrafted
Where's
guy.
he from, Mickey?
Newark, Arkansas.
Where are you from?
Harrisburg, Arkansas.
How far are y'all apart?
Oh, about an hour.
Y'all farms touch?
No. No, my farm wasn't that big. Their dad, though, played college. His dad played college basketball at Arkansas State, and so did his mom.
Oh, and y'all let him slip away.
They let a lot slip away over there since I slipped away. They let me slip away. What are you talking about? But just an unbelievable, again, you may hate LeBron because I know some of y'all do, but this has been unbelievable to watch.
Yeah.
They just eliminated the dang champions.
Yeah.
Just knocked them out.
That wasn't the same team as they had a horrible road record, but it still was the champions, no doubt. It was Curry, the Splash Brothers. And no pressure going into the season for the Lakers. No expectations to win it all. And then all of a sudden now they're a series away, to the championship. But I'm still picking the Nuggets.
You got your man Joker.
And, I like LeBron and everything just like you, but the Joker. It's going to be interesting because AD and his athleticism and his length is going to be a tough go for the Joker. So I'm interested to watch it. So I'm picking the Nuggets versus the Celtics in the championship. And that's hard to kind of go against two players that I actually like, LeBron as well as Butler, because that's my wife's cousin.
You've been on both of them since the offseason started, or the postseason started the NBA. You've been on the Celtics for sure, and on the Nuggets too, and Joker.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's what's going to happen, but I wouldn't be upset if it's the Lakers and LeBron. And, man, if he makes a championship, man, how many championships has he been to? Now, I know how many he has, but how many has he been to?
Not one, not two.
Has he been to like
3?
10? I don't know. I feel like I know he lost to Dallas Mavericks, and who else? He lost another time with the Cavs in Detroit, right? No, that was the Eastern Conference Final.
So 4-time champion. So how many times did he go when he lost?
I think he's lost like 2 or 3 of those.
I think he's lost 2.
2?
Has he lost 2 or 3?
Yeah. Yeah, so this.
Peyton on here says LeBron's 10-0 in conference finals series. I'm gonna take LeBron, man. I'm gonna take LeBron. I'm gonna take my man Austin Reeves, son of two A-State grads.
And there's a part of me I want to cheer for him, but I love me some Joker. I want to see what he does to AD. AD is Mr. Inconsistent Superstar.
But maybe he can string not just every other game. Maybe he'll get like multiple games in a row and not every other game for AD, which is the run he had been on.
For all you athletes out there and wannabe athletes, like, I want you to see the clinic, the Joker, who is nowhere near the athlete AD, how you beat the more athletic guy. Take note. Skill always wins. He could pull him out to the three-point line and, man, just swoosh some threes. He's got that shot over the top of his head. Oh, man, it reminds me when I love me some Larry Bird. This is kind of the love that I'm starting to have for the Joker and his skill set. And I had no idea Larry Bird, I'm seeing all these, IG stories of how he was talking about, hey, man, well, I'm going to shoot right here, man. And next time after this timeout, yeah, just be ready. Telling the whole team he's playing. Then he come out there and hit the shot against like Dominique Wilkins and all these dudes. Say, hey, man. And then or when y'all put somebody on him, be like, hey, man, y'all put this dude on me? Man, y'all better get somebody better to put on me.
Okay, here's multiple people.
Wow.
Here's multiple people saying this in multiple articles. He's made 10 finals.
10 finals. I knew it was double
10.
figures. Yeah, I knew it.
10
I was
finals.
about to say 11. I said, but I think it's 10.
I think he gets to number 11. He's about to win.
And here's what I said, and people laughed at me when I was on the morning show with Big Mark. LeBron James will eventually be the best player in the world. And just think, I grew up in the era of air.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that. It just is no way around it. It is what it is.
All right. It is what it is. Lucas says we got to go. Hour number 2 coming up. Coach Mack, the Mack Attack in 22 minutes or so on Blaine and Mickey.
It is 2:04. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. The other week we heard from Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill and tight end Chigakonkwo about the tempo of this new-look Titans offense under first-year offensive coordinator Tim Kelly. Well, second-year wide receiver Treylon Burks met with the media earlier this afternoon, and he was asked about just that.
I would say, honestly, man, it really reminds me of my sophomore year in college with that being Browse coming in and just having that tempo offense and just knowing like that it's so much things in this offense that we have now that you can just go be free, have fun, and just win games.
Tonight in the NBA, the Western Conference Finals tip off. The Lakers are at the Nuggets, Game 1 at 7:30. And in college baseball, it is senior night in Knoxville. The Tennessee Vols hosting Belmont for the final midweek non-conference matchup of the regular season, throwing first pitch at Lindsey Nelson Stadium at 5:30. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt also playing an in-state matchup, hosting MTSU tonight at Hawkins Field. That's at 6 p.m. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Titans players, veterans speaking today. The veterans and the rookies got mixed together on Monday. Rookies had their mini camp, and then now they're all down there just doing what they do. They're all down there doing it, prepping for 2023.
Well, yeah, and the sooner the better. And the players, the rookie players that are more focused and invested in being the best they can be sooner than later. That means studying the playbook, make sure you're taking care of your body, learning from listening from past experiences of other players, as they heard at Burks today. And, that way you put your best foot forward sooner than later, because now this league is sped up, man. They want to see results and they want to see it quick, especially, the pressure of being a first, second, or third round pick. Their contributions are supposed to be somewhat immediate, depending on, who's all there and veterans and when your time will come. Yeah. You never know, though, even if you're a late round pick. As though I prepared as though I was going to be a starter at some point in time, and it eventually happened through injuries. So you don't know how it will come. But you better be ready and seize the opportunity, because if you don't, you're only going to get one shot. Yeah, if Lucas was up there fumbling and stumbling over those soccer games he's calling, that's all, he going to get one shot. They move on to the next guy, and then they move on to Mickey. Calling the soccer games.
That was Azeez Al-Shire talked about that today.
Oh, did he?
The new Titans linebacker, they asked him, are you getting to know the rookies? And he goes, yeah, I'm getting to know these guys. And he said, we got these undrafted guys that came in and they tried out and they made it. He said, I didn't get drafted. He said, here's what I figured out too. I had to be perfect because I would only get one chance. And he said, guess who gets the least reps? Undrafted guys. Then somebody gets hurt or somebody missed practice, something like that. He goes, hey, man, go out there. It's your chance.
You better be ready. You better be ready. And the only way you can do that is have I'm not just talking about toughness, mental fortitude, that you believe when you get your shot, it won't be pressure. It will be easy because you waited and you knew you'd be ready because you put the time and the work and the effort into it all. And that's what I did. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. So and sometimes you may not get your shot, but you're in camp. So you got to think that even if it's not with this team, somebody's seeing me on film, because eventually I'm going to get on tape somewhere.
Yep. Whether
here or there, and they going to see. They go, hey, man, this guy's all right. He could be a death piece. So, yeah, I get all that he's saying, and that's kind of – I wish some of the first rounders would have this mindset. And now that the money's so big, a lot of them come in and there's a lot of pressure. And I don't think they understand what the pressure is today compared to even, 20, 30 years ago. There's always pressure from first rounders, but like it's ratcheted up now with all the social media. You can hear all the noise. Where before, in my era, you couldn't hear all the noise. It was through the paper, and some people didn't read the paper. They did or not, so. Yeah, there's much more pressure.
All right here now.
Yeah, on the phone, man. The social media and Lucas talking crazy about, Burks and everything, talking about he not in shape. He need to get in shape. What was he doing? Quit hunting, man. and you start running, and you need to start chasing those whatever he's hunting.
Wild hogs.
Yeah, I remember. Remember we asked him. He said he caught one with his hands, right? He did something. He killed it with his hands. I mean, he had a knife or something.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, right? Like the dog tracks.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What, that's how you do it.
Well, that's how you explained it, right?
I am from
that
where
is how you explain it.
I am from where he is from.
Oh yeah, please
The dogs,
explain.
and the part of the state I'm from is more like duck hunting. Part of the state
Right,
where
that's
he's
how
from is more like wild everything hunting. They got mountains. No mountains where I'm from. The
Well, he
pictures,
need to be running the mountains chasing it with them dogs.
the pitcher's mountain was like the highest point in my town of our one baseball field. We had one baseball field, by the way. You had to book it years in advance to get some time on that rascal. If you were
You
8
gotta
or
book
you were
it.
18, we all used the same field. That blows my son's mind. Anyway, where he's from, it's mountains. It's a lot like Tennessee, that all you love living in Tennessee, all these mountains. And he said, remember we asked him, we said, did we, how does this work? He said, the dogs corner it, and then I finish the job.
Yeah, he
In
said
so many words.
He said he did it with his hands with a knife.
Yep.
No, what did he say? Did he
Yeah.
say knife?
No, knife. You
I
can
was
shoot
like-
those things with a gun, but he
He said I like doing it. Like he said I've been doing it since I was like 6 or 8 years old.
Yep.
That's all I remember because I'm not a hunter at all. And I didn't know what.
now imagine a wild, slobbering, crazy pig that's been chased by a bunch of dogs, and now you're gonna walk in there and finish the job.
Oh, he's up there like a wild animal. Like get away from me. Y'all didn't scare you. Y'all didn't spooked me.
And that's the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's
Right? Yeah.
that's real. You walking up to that pig, and that pig's thinking it's you or me. Now, granted, he has a knife, and the pig is tired, but that's the old school way of doing it, man.
Hey, have you ever done that?
No, my dad.
Have you been with people who have done that?
No, there were no Razorback. There were no wild hogs really where I lived, so I would have had to go a long way to do it across the state. But as soon as he started explaining it, I knew people from Northwest or Southwest Arkansas where it was more like that, who they talked about doing that. Where I lived, everybody, you wanted something, you shot it.
Yeah, well, where I'm from is you
Went to Kroger.
Yeah, you just go pick out the meat at the store after somebody did all that.
Somebody did all the hard work.
Hey, man, and I'll try anything, so I'll go, but I'll be like, hey, man, yeah, I took off. I saw you shoot it from here. I'm good to go, man. I'll walk up to it when y'all get real close and get everything and maybe even bringing it back. I'll watch y'all.
And if you got a pack of well-trained dogs, like you hear people talk about hunting raccoons, people eat those things, some people.
What?
And they would corner them or get them in a tree. They would tree the raccoon. So
They would treat a raccoon.
tree him. And then all the dogs run up to the trunk of the tree.
And I know they get him up in the tree. Then who? Y'all shoot it out of there?
Then he gets capped.
Oh, okay.
And he just drops right on down into the
I
party.
thought you was about to say you had some special dogs to run up the trees. What kind of dogs are these, man? You trap it in the run up the tree. Oh, then you can't. Oh, what does that taste like?
I had chili made out of raccoon.
If you get it comparable, to someone who doesn't, hasn't ever tasted raccoon, like does it taste like some beef jerky? Give me something, man. I don't know what.
I told this story before.
Steak or something. What is?
My parents had a friend named Dick.
Let's
I told you a story about this guy Dick.
What?
And
I don't remember.
Dick lived like in the swamp south of the town I
So
lived
he used to be
in.
walking. He used to paint his face.
He didn't paint his face, but this rascal, sometimes he would just bring food over, and my parents never asked what's in this. They just eat it. So finally one day he brought this chili over.
Oh,
And you ever see, when it rains on a parking lot and there's the puddles of water, and they have the rainbow where the oil is in the water?
okay, yeah.
Where you sort of see the rainbow colors?
I'm following you.
This chili had pockets that almost the grease was almost so greasy that it almost looked like the grease in the water. It almost
It had
rainbow.
the rainbow.
It
You
was
sure
so-
he didn't? You sure he didn't use the water that was outside?
It was so greasy. And I said, I'm going to ask, just out of sheer morbid curiosity, what meat is this chili concocted of? He goes, man, that's a big old raccoon. I killed him yesterday.
Oh. And what did that raccoon taste like? Can you tell us?
Honestly,
why are your eyes getting watery?
It makes me gag thinking about it. It was so-
He act like he about to cry over here, bro.
It
What
was
you
so
doing?
greasy and so chewy.
Oh.
And now there's people listening who live out in the woods and shoot and kill and eat, whatever.
we don't have time.
I was a one and done.
Man.
I was one and
People
done.
call in and tell us, about the raccoons that you've eaten and what it tastes. No, what it tastes like. I want to know what it tastes like. I'll try anything, but boy.
Squirrel kind of tasted like chicken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I bet it kind of tastes like rabbit, right? Squirrel
Oh,
and rabbit can't be that
rabbit?
different.
Okay.
Rabbit is amazing.
Mr. Rabbit in here,
Mm-hmm.
Lucas Panzica. You can go to the market. You ever go
He gave
harvest your own fresh rabbit, Lucas?
I've never
yeah.
bought rabbit. Where can you buy rabbit? If you tell me where I can buy rabbit, and I'll go
No,
buy
I
it
think
right
you
now.
buy like a case of shotgun shells, and you
Right. You gotta
Yeah,
go
I mean,
get your
that's
own.
where. Yeah, it's
Upper hunting rabbit.
It's your
That's
choose your own
so-
adventure to get the
so
rabbit. Yeah,
soft. Man. all I think
gator is
about-
like chicken. Lonzo
Oh, it
says
tastes like
gator's
chicken.
not too bad.
Oh, gator. Yeah,
Gator
I've
does
had-
taste a little like chicken.
Yeah, I've had some gator. Yeah.
Y'all ever had turtle?
No.
I know people who ate turtles.
No.
People who eat turtles will tell you like turtle is a world unto itself.
What do you mean by that? A world to itself.
Like all
it's really good or
Yes.
it's really bad?
No,
or
really good. Like multiple, like some taste like chicken and some taste like it has different layers of the turtle that taste a lot different.
I'm up here trying to think, like, I can't even see all we can see of a turtle is its arms because it's in a shell. So what does this meat body look like?
I don't know, man. We got to go. Coach Mack is next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. You hear that music. It only means one thing, the return of Coach Mack to talk Titans and NFL and all things football. Coach, let's start today with a non-football topic. A young man from the wild, beautiful lands of Texas. What all different wild game have you consumed in your life, would you say, and what's your favorite?
Okay. Well, I used to go raccoon hunting quite a bit because I had a friend who had some really good dogs, but I'd never eaten raccoon. I passed on that. Rattlesnake, rabbit.
How did rattlesnake taste? I've never had that.
It's chicken.
Okay.
It depends on how they fix it. They got a huge rattlesnake roundup in Sweetwater, Texas, 30 miles from my hometown every year, where they catch them by the truckloads. There's a few rattlesnakes out there. Yeah. And anyway, it tastes a little bit like chicken. Frog legs, frogs count.
Yeah.
Frog legs. That's about as exotic, as I've gotten with just stuff you can catch.
You had turtle?
Fix. Yes, I've had turtle. I've had turtle soup in New Orleans. Had turtle soup. Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Oh, well, what's the one you don't like? Is any that you like, nah?
You know what? Of those that I just said, I kind of enjoyed all of them. I passed on ever eating I heard y'all a little bit. I passed on ever eating the raccoon.
The raccoon.
Okay. I said, that's good. You can have all of that.
Oh, why? It just smelled, or why'd you pass?
No, I just couldn't figure out, how, somebody could fix it.
Well, they might have had some nice green peppers and onions.
Yeah, but I just, as I said,
I would have passed too, Coach.
Used to have a guy that had a lot of great dogs. We'd go out. You got to go out late at night, and when we go out late at night, it's exciting. But I know that none of them were ever wasted. He had plenty of people to eat them, just not Coach Mack.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll know what to indulge in tonight, and raccoon will not be one of them.
Man, I had it one time, and once was enough for me, Coach. Got to hear from some veterans today. They used the word they used the word conditioning a lot. I think we can all rest assured that these gentlemen will be in good shape by the time camp rolls around, because boy, they talked a lot about conditioning.
Well, that's what you're doing now, but you're building the base. You're not trying to get in the best shape of your life right now. You got to, they will build up to that by training camp. You've got a professional athlete in this league for a lot of years sitting right next to you there, and he'll tell you the best you're ever going to feel is that first day of training camp. But that's when you want to feel the best. The big thing is to build a base, and so you have something to maintain during the year. Because if you don't get a base built, and then all of a sudden the grind of the year starts to wear on you, and then you are not only trying to maintain, you are trying to – during the season is no time to try to build up, because it's just too much stress. Your body just physically can only do so much. So right now what they are doing is getting a base put down so that they will have something to be able to supplement once the season starts.
Well, and young people listening wouldn't even understand this, but, for many, many decades in the NFL, training camp was guys would go get in shape at training camp. You'd show up out of shape and get in shape in time to play the season.
Well, that was football shape, but we, and again, I've done this for a while. When we first started, we had no off-season program.
Yeah.
When it was still, when there was no free agency and there was no salary cap, you had the same players every year. Well, the young players that did make your team, which was very few of them, because everybody stayed. Well, they learned, how to work out in the off season from the vets, and then, they would do it on their own. But yes, training camps were 6 weeks long. 6 weeks long then, and 2 a days. I'm just going with my experience with the Bears. It was 2 a days and full pads every day. We may have put shorts on some Sunday mornings, maybe, but still shoulder pads. So, it's changed drastically, but there was no really concentrated off-season program. You would have the offensive and the defensive linemen. They would always be the ones that would be the closest to the strength coach. And so, they would have some things but no, or like it is now. If a player is not in condition by the time training camp starts, and he's been in an off-season program in the National Football League, then he's really not trying to do what he should do.
Well, a quick question added to that, Coach. Compared to my time, naturally, even when we started off season, I would be in somewhat shape. You acting as though they're not doing anything until they actually start working in the off season program. Is that kind of what you're referring to? Because you build your baseline on your own initially. Yeah, at least I would hope they are.
No, they're doing something all the time. This is a 12-month job, as you well know.
Right.
And so you're always doing something. I'm talking about ramping up once you get, together, and basically, the strength and conditioning training that you're starting to build, a really solid base. But you can't. Now, the day of being able to lay out, like Mickey was saying, and then just show up and start working yourself into.
Yeah, those guys have.
They're really, for professional athletes, especially football players, because of the length of the season now, there really is no time physically off. You can be doing some constructive things, and
right.
some active things, but not. Go ahead and show up as a vet, out of shape, and you won't be around very long.
Coach Mack, always around with us every Tuesday. You need great health care coverage and affordable price tag. The Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've been protecting Tennesseans for over 75 years and bring you Coach Mack every week here on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, Coach, now into the camp there, and just give us things that kind of stood out, pros and cons, especially with the quarterback and, the top three round picks. What'd you think?
Well, I was up there at practice, all the rookie practices. I saw Mickey the day that the media was allowed in, up there. I mean, they're just starting out. It looks to me like we've got some guys that have got some athleticism. The thing that was a little different about this rookie camp for me, I can remember, in some of my years coaching, when we'd have a rookie camp, I mean, we wouldn't have a full complement. They had 52 people up there.
Oh.
And so there was quite a bit that they were able to do. Of course, it's mostly individual, but then just watching the draft picks, because that's what everybody is looking at. I mean, the thing that stuck out to me is that some good looking athletes. There's some length there. I mean, the two offensive linemen looked really athletic to me. The quarterback has got an arm. I mean, he can spin it. Wiley, the big tight end. I mean, that's there's a guy that can benefit quite a bit from an NFL offseason program as far as building some more functional strength. But he's got length, really nice hands. He's a hands catcher. He can extend out there. Our receiver from Tennessee, Martin Colton. I talked to Rob Moore quite a bit before practice because, Rob and I have a nice relationship because he played for me there in Arizona. And I didn't really ask him about his athletic ability because that's something that you can see, you can watch about. But he was really impressed with him in the classroom, as far as about his approach to it. And he said he's dialed in, Mac. He said, this is a serious young man. So you like hearing that. But, I thought they practiced with some nice tempo, some nice speed. Now, look, it's a rookie camp, and so there are things, it's not hitting on all cylinders now. But I don't know what Mickey thought, but when the press was there, of course, I was there all the days. I mean, it looked, they know what they're doing with them, and I kind of like the athleticism that I saw kind of throughout the whole group.
Yeah. Well, I guess kind of explain. Everybody wanted to make a big deal. I didn't think it was a big deal about it. Just watching all the different videos on Colton Dowell's snafu there on the ladder, because I mean I've seen some veterans have some snafus. At least when I was working out on the off season using the ladder there.
Yeah. Hey, Blaine, I can tell by your tone of voice you're like I am. Please.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, huh? I mean,
and again, I don't want
to. Yeah, come on.
I mean, please. I don't want to say anything disrespectful to anybody's opinion, but you know what? Please.
Well, I guess
he's just fine.
Yeah, right. No doubt. Well, I get into something a little more serious. Give us, just from a broad perspective, give us the pros and cons in today's NFL compared to when you were a head coach, starting the quarterback early, and what the benefits would be if you did or didn't do that.
Well, if you go clear back to when I started,
right.
The cons, the pros to it would be that everybody that was there mostly had been there before and would be around him. Now, if you're going to start a young quarterback, then about 30% of the roster has been changed from what it was before. So you've got not only a young quarterback, trying to learn and fit in with the sync of what's going on. You've got about 30% of your roster that flips every year. Okay, and so that was a big difference. I mean, I can relate it not to a quarterback, but we drafted Mark Carrier, the sixth pick, number one coming out of USC, and we inserted him as a starter with a defense that had 10 other returning starters, and 6 of those 10 were all-pro players. So, I mean, he was surrounded by a pretty good protective group that would allow him to grow. You bring a young quarterback in now as a rookie, and you expect him to start. First of all, if you've got a young quarterback you drafted early, you're probably not a real good team. And then you have probably, flipped your roster quite a bit. There's a chance that you've had a coaching change. If you have a coaching change, you're going to have a philosophy change. You have a philosophy change, then you're going to have guys that are learning along with the young quarterback. So there's a lot that goes to it. Now, the thing that you look at now, though, Blaine, that is a lot better than it used to be. Sam Bradford was the last rookie quarterback taken that had $75 million guaranteed before he ever took a snap. Mm-hmm. So you take somebody like that's taking up that much of a salary cap, you pretty much are obligated to have to play him. Now with the salaries, being slotted like they are, you're not in that situation anymore.
How much do you think, now with all the 7-on-7, the development of the quarterbacks are much more advanced when they get into the NFL and are a little bit ahead of at least, 10, 15 years ago?
I think it makes a difference just because of the fact that you bring up the 7-on-7s, you bring up all the passing leagues that go on, in high schools around the country in the off season. If you're talking about those positions, I think from that what you have seen is quarterbacks that are getting a little bit more idea early about some of the things that they look at. The development of defensive backs. Mm-hmm. Has come along with that. And also, then you've seen the emergence of bigger guys that might have been, might be basketball players in high school that all of a sudden can be tight ends split out, to use their heights. And so I think it's an evolution that definitely has some bearing on the way the things trickle up, if you want to, speak it like that. I think it makes a little bit of a difference, yes.
There you have it, Coach Mack giving us
the other thing. The other thing, Blaine, let me say this, and you bring up a great point. In high school, there's a lot of specialized. I mean, right now, I know what Texas is because there are parents if their child is especially a quarterback they're hiring guys to coach them other than their high school coaches.
Yeah,
early on, there's a lot of that going on.
There you have it, Coach Mack.
Coach, how did you handle as a coach the mixing the rookies and vets together for the first few days where the rookies already feel like they're drinking out of a fire hose?
Well, because they are drinking out of a fire hose. But first of all the vets have experienced it before, so they know. And then you've got an experienced coaching staff. Mike Vrabel is an experienced coach. He was a player in this league for a long time at a high level, so he knows. We did the same thing. You'd start your rookies out together, but then start blending them in because, first of all, when you blend them in, as you blend them in, they learn how the practice is supposed to work. They watch the veterans practice against each other. Rookies coming in this league, you've got to learn how to practice at near speed without pads on because you can only wear pads so many times a year anyway in the National Football League. The numbers are reduced from what they're used to coming from with the numbers you're allowed in college to have. So that you wear pads more. But you have to learn how to practice at speed without pads on. So they learn that by watching and then being moved into that type of an environment. And Blaine can say it right there. You got a rookie that's in there that they're all hyped up and juiced up, and all of a sudden you say, hey, look. Speed is different than just going full out and trying to blow somebody up in every drill that we do. That's not how you get ready, especially when you're going to be practicing that speed day in, day out against one another. They have to learn how to practice with each other. They have to learn how to practice with speed. And then, of course, just watching, how vets do everything, they learn, not only in the classroom, and then in a walkthrough, but then practicing with them. So and then we always, and Mike Vrabel will do the same thing. He will have extra time both in the classroom and then on the field with the rookies after the vets, go in and start to do whatever they do, after every practice. You have to spend more time with the rookies because you're trying to get them up to speed as to where these vets have been.
Coach Mack hanging out with us here, giving us the Mack attack on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, Coach, I don't know if we got a chance to talk to you about what your thoughts are on, from a coach's perspective, when you were coach of the schedule. Did we get to talk to you about that?
No, I like this schedule. I think it's a pretty linear schedule. I thought last year's was a little bit segmented as far as, some of the altered games, especially the Thursday games. I thought it was I think this is a pretty linear schedule. I mean, the schedule's the schedule, right? You're going to play it when they say you're going to play it.
Right.
But, when I looked at it and I said, okay, now this schedule is not unlike every schedule in the National Football League. They started putting more of the division games at the end, okay? Mm-hmm. More of your division games are at the end. And then also the thing that they've done now, and of course they're marketing geniuses, is that now they have given themselves a time frame towards the end of the season where you can flex games. You can flex games and you can move games. But just my first blush at it, I always like to see, first of all, I like to see if you're playing anybody that's coming off a bye. I like to see, how many. We've got 3 in a row on the road. I like to see the before and after that in that 5-week stretch as to where that is. I like to see where my furthest trip is. If you're going internationally, where does the international trip fall? So that, dictates a little bit. You don't have to take your open date after the international trip, but most teams do that. Some teams don't, depending on where they're flying from. But I thought it was a very linear schedule. And as I say, I'm just excited that it's getting ready to get started. I mean, I look forward to this. I mean, this has been half of my adult life. I absolutely enjoy it, and every year is a little something different. And so here we go.
Well, Coach, I want to end this just like we started it, and that is, have you ever had cow tongue meat, and how did it taste?
The answer is no, and I don't know.
Being from Texas, no cow tongue meat?
Well, let me stop you. My grandfather, who's in the oil business, would love tongue, onions, and buttermilk. So guess how much of that I ate with my grandfather? Close your eyes. Tell me what you see. None.
0? Oh, you didn't even taste it, Coach.
I wouldn't even try.
Oh, man.
Tongue, onions, and buttermilk with Coach Mack.
I got to try it out, man.
Hey, we'll be talking about more of this stuff next week, and already looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach.
Always fun. See you guys.
Yes, sir. The one and only Coach Mack.
Moo.
All right, the unquestioned number 1 receiver of the Titans, they are counting on him to be some kind of good, is Treylon Burks. Big story for him last year was his dealing with asthma, right? Remember all that? You got to ask about it today. Where is all that stuff? You can hear straight from Mr. Burks next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Alvin in Nashville has been waiting to talk about something. Before we hear from a Titans receiver, let's hear from Alvin. He wants to talk, I think, about wide receivers.
Talking about wide receivers, huh?
Alvin, what's going on, man?
You play wide receiver? Alvin hung up.
You there?
Hello?
Hey,
there you go, Alvin. Hey, you play wide receiver, Alvin?
Nah, I got a question. But I heard you talk before. My question to y'all is, as far as our receivers go, like, why is it that Tyler not picking up receivers? Because the reason I ask is because if you think about 2 years ago, we played the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
We keep playing these close games. Keep playing close. What happened? Got burnt. The Bengals went right down the field, set up for the field goal.
Yeah.
Can't keep playing these games.
Mm-hmm.
These close games. You're going to face a team like the Bengals that have receivers. You have got to get receivers. This is a passing league. I just hung up on this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how many years now have you been saying, hey, throw the ball some more so you don't get to the playoffs and then you're ill-prepared to throw the ball?
Right, because they're going to have better defenses and they're going to, make sure they contain the king or the running game.
Right.
In general. I don't have the answer for it. Only answer I have is that I think they believe their offense can be functional with one stud receiver and the rest complementary pieces. You throw Chig in there, I think he can be more than a complimentary piece for sure, potentially. He shows glimpses, he can be really good. But, yeah, I think to me, I'm starting to believe that's what they believe based off of their actions. And there's some part of me, I would agree with that to a certain extent. I just think you have to have a proven veteran. Maybe they think the Chris Moore guy, only 1 year through his 7-year career, has had a really good season. I think he had 600 yards or so, maybe 700. And that was his most productive season. He got the opportunity to play, and he showed. So maybe they think that's good enough, and he's probably a better version or maybe a faster version of NWI. So I think they can get by. And if something breaks for them, they have to hold pat with where they're at in the salary cap. I think they can continue to compete and win games this way. You got to look at the history, too, of Vrabel and what he grew up under. And everybody talks about Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick never really had superstar receivers besides Randy Moss. Now, we could say they had some productive guys, Edelman to Wes Welker, all kind of slot, diamond in the rough, late draft pick type guys. They may have had some guys here or there, but they had a whole bunch of guys that were really solid, good receivers. No, incredible receivers, let's say that, like, Pro Bowl every year, Hall of Fame type receivers besides Randy Moss, which was a pickup later down the road. And he kind of tried it and continued in the draft, and is still doing it and missing on guys, whether it's high, middle rounds, or late. So he didn't have a lot of success. So I think that thought process, as far as you don't need superstar receivers all over the place, I think is part of that. And when you're a run-dominant team. Now, if you spread them out, I think they're going to do Tim Kelly, if I were guessing based off what he did when he was the coordinator of the Texans, is they're going to use the tight ends a little bit more and flex them out and do some different things. And that's why Wiley, who's more of a pass-catching type big guy, they can get out there and take a linebacker to the woodshed and beat him as well as Chig. So I think that's why they're trying to do it their way, as far as still running, but not getting away from the identity of being a running team, but being able to throw when they have to. And I think that's kind of what they think. And history kind of says, you got to have, play great defense and run the football. But I think, as the callers mentioned, you got to be able to throw the football in the playoffs and be productive. You got to have some threats, and some real threats. That the defense respects.
Let's hear from one of those threats. Traylon Burks, remember last year when the whole asthma thing came up? We got asked about that today, talked about controlling it.
I would just say that's why I've been here, just making sure that I'm running in the heat. When I do get that feeling, I know how to control it now, just being here with Todd and running with him out there, or running with the strength coaches. Frank doing a good job of, managing what I'm doing and not overdoing something. So it just all goes back to me being here throughout the whole offseason and getting that under control.
Healthy Traylon Burks.
I don't even know those people he named.
Todd Torselli he's the head. I guess he's the head. Is he the head strength and conditioning
he just said
guy?
Todd. It could have been Todd Bowles.
They ready to get Todd Bowles' degree together. But here running, here working, that was a big topic of discussion last year. But if he hits the ground running this year, which he did not last year, but if he hits the ground running in year 2 and just goes out there from day one, because physically he's a different kind of cat. And you mentioned like to play at Green Bay. I mean, we saw some flashes last year.
Oh, throughout the season when he played, yeah. Right when we got hooked, like, okay, now, and then he get injured again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got the hit in the Philly, and that kind of really got
No
him
flag on that either, right? Got hit right in the face. No flag.
I remember what I said. I didn't think that was a flag.
Oh, I wish they would have thrown one. I would have felt better about everything.
But unfortunately, he got injured, so you want a flag. But I thought the intent of what he was doing and where he hit him, it was more so in the chest than in the head. So I think he got hurt more so when he hit the ground.
Yeah. Well, big guy says he feels good. He sounds good, looks good. So it's just another piece of the puzzle as we got to hear from the veterans today. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you will hear more about that coming up next on 3HL. But for now, it is time for us to take off on this Tuesday.
So in the meantime.
In between time.
NBA draft lottery tonight. Did you know?
Who's going to get the best ball?
The cow duck.
Peace.